I'm feeling like playing a little football manager today. Let's see here. Gotta pick an interesting save. Wanna make it a bit of a challenge.
3 hours later.
I picked Brest. Stade Brestois, to give them their full name, are a mid-table Ligue 1 team located in the city of Brest, France. They've won almost nothing in their almost 100-year history, save for a second division title in 1981. Nowadays, Brest have got a few decent players about them. Marco Bizot, the Dutch goalkeeper, has been there for the last couple years and is our starter. Pierre-Lise Malou, a central midfielder brought in from Norwich this season for a measly $2.3 million, will slot into a playmaking role in our squad with 15 passing and 14 vision out of 20. And tall, pacey Honduran forward Albert Ellis, who was brought in on loan from Bordeaux for this season. He'll be moving in and out across that front three over the course of this year, so I'll be on the lookout for him to pop up with a few goals and assists. Looking at our squad for this season, I'm struggling to find the best way to play. Maybe I want to go with a solid 4-4-2 or a free-flowing 4-3-3 formation, but with our abundance of central midfielders, I could maybe go with something like a 4-5-1 or a 3-5-2 instead. But then I decided to throw all those weak basic tactics out the window, so I could make this abomination. So now we have our beautiful, not at all terrible and ugly formation. We need to upgrade a few players. So let's go check out our budget, and we're broke. Okay, so we've got no money to work with. Let's sell one of our center backs for $3 million to Lille. Then we'll go out and get Nuno Moreira for $1.5 million up front and another $1.5 million over the next 2 years.
What's he saying? It's a really good ball. It's Jschlatt!
Oh yeah, and we signed him on a free transfer to make a few cameos off the bench. Who's at the door? Lens, and they're here to lose in the opening Ligue 1 match of the season? Sounds good to me. Now we've got Marseille up next. Elise opened the scoring with a tidy finish into the back of the net. Now all we have to do is keep a hold of this match and... Payet scored to start the second half off, but right back Noah Fadiga put us back ahead in the 57th minute. Now all we need to do is play more defensively and hold on to this lead for the last few minutes and... Okay, that's not ideal, but at least we have an easier run of games ahead. We breezed past Angers in the next game, beating them 2-0, and then picked up a further 5 points from the next 3 games with a 3-1 win over Strasbourg and 2 1-1 draws with Montpellier and Rennes. Now before we get to the PSG game next, I need to introduce you to someone. This is Eduardo Henrique. I signed him for just $650,000 from Sporting in the Portuguese league. I can already hear you down in the comments.
But Guillotine, you already have 800 other center mids. What do you need this guy for?
Well, thank you for the comment, but to you I say, watch this. Remember that horrible abomination of a formation I showed you earlier? Yeah, that one. Let me tell you a secret. Come closer. Closer. Close. Okay, you're too close. He's going at left back. Anyway, back to PSG, the final boss of French football. We go into their home stadium at the Parc des Princes on a 6-game unbeaten streak, and we lose 2-1. Marco Verratti scores this free kick in the 2nd minute of stoppage time to break the traveling fans' hearts. That's our first loss of the season, coming 7 weeks into it. Not bad for a supposedly mid-table team with a weird formation. After that loss, though, we lost our mojo for a bit, drawing our next 2 games 0-0 at home versus Ajaccio and 1-1 away at Angers. Thankfully, though, our next 3 games were a breeze, winning all 3 with striker Steve Mounier scoring twice. He's been really good for us so far this season, and by the time we get to the World Cup break in November, he'll have scored 5 and assisted 3 in 12 games. Nuno Moreira has also been a success filling in at that attacking midfield role, with 4 goals and 2 assists in 15 games and a 6.96 average rating. Back to our league matches now, and up next is Reims, led by young English manager Will Still. Fun fact about Will Still, he led Reims to a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. Reims pay a £22,000 fine each time Still manages because he doesn't have his UEFA Pro license. So knowing that, I was wary going into this game. We drew 0-0. No one scored, no highlights, barely anything happened. Next match was against Nice, who've actually been pretty decent in the past, finishing 5th just last season. We ended up taking the lead early on through Albert Ellis. Per our lodge doubled our lead 16 minutes later, and we went into halftime up 2-0. We can hold on to this lead, right lads?
What is the goalkeeper doing? Why are you there?
Okay, that's our second straight draw. Troy is our last game before the World Cup break. Needing a win, I made sure we put out what was as close to our best 11 as possible. Steve Mounier scored to put us in the lead, and it stayed that way until halftime. From that point on, it was the Mama Balde show. He scored twice for Troy as they left 2-1 victors. Let's talk really quickly about Marco Bizzo. He's been immense this season so far, conceding just 14 goals in 15 games with a 6.97 average match rating. A bid of $3.5 million from Al Sadd was made, and with only a year and a half left on his contract, coupled with the fact that he wanted to leave, I couldn't stand in his way. Using the money we got for Bizzo, we went out and signed 2 players, a replacement goalkeeper in Dani Cardenas from Levante, and a backup for Mounier in Czech international Antonín Rusek. After the World Cup break, we returned for our final match before the January transfer window opened against Lyon. Well, that ought to be great for our confidence.